Behavior recently released their plans for the next PTB, and they are something, to be sure. I'm not super hopeful about them because they are just so many things that are so broad applying. They apply to so many things. There's so many situations in which there are going to be issues with them, and I just don't have faith in behavior to properly work around it and balance it. I just don't see them fix all of the issues. And there's so many issues. And some of the issues can be fixed via like actually balancing them more. Like the 90-second self-pickup unbreak, that could probably be fixed by just, either increasing the amount of time it takes for unbreak to activate, or adding an extra condition like 2 survivors had to be slugged, or making it so that it doesn't give you infinite unbreakable. I don't know why that was a decision that they made to make it so that after the 90 seconds have passed, it's just infinite unbreakable. I think that's absolutely like crazy that they decided to do that. I think that there are ways that change could be fixed and could be healthy for the game. But then you have other changes that I think are so like problematic in their conception. Like base kit tenacity. I don't think there's any I think that's always going to be bad. And then you have the tunneling changes, which range from like deleting macro play or like obfuscating macro play, which practically speaking only really hurts, weak killers who aren't able to check on the hooks themselves because it just simply takes too long for them to physically get to the hook to look at it. That's going to harm the weaker killers way worse. Because if they, they hook somebody, they get the base kit barbecue. That one's a good change, but they hook somebody, they get the base kit barbecue. They cross the entire map. Whoever that they saw either, has ran away, and now they don't have any info. Normally, they would see the unhook happen, and then they can go back and be like, okay, now I have some info. Now that's just, not a thing anymore. Now if you have no info, you're just kind of screwed because the game is actively hiding info from you. I think it's such... this is, probably the least problematic of the problematic changes, but it's also just it's still a bad change. And then you have the if you hook somebody twice into death, I think your gen regress perks just don't work. They're just deleted. You can't kick gens anymore. You can't apply pop. They're just all gone. Your entire build, because somebody ran into you. They are bothering you with a flashy save. They're doing pallet saves. Or 100 different things that a survivor can do after they're unhooked. And if you try and respond to any of them, you get supremely, heavily, harshly punished. And then somebody like, the Ghoul or Blight, they're not going to care, because they can cross the entire map in seconds. So it's really easy for them to not tunnel, because they get that barbecue info, and then they cross the entire map, and then they down somebody in 20 seconds, because they also have strong chase powers. It's just there's so many issues with it. Even the good parts, even the parts of the patch that I actually kind of like, have bad aspects to them. Like the rewarding you for spreading hooks. That's great in theory, but the way they implemented it, where the regression you get is based off of a gen kick, that's so much better on certain killers than others. If you're, a hag and nobody's touched the gens in your web, then hooking new survivors is meaningless. But if you're Wraith, a solid mid-tier killer with a lot of mobility, you go and you cross the map and you kick gens, and you kick gens 60% faster. It's so free for them. Instead of doing something that would just make it even, have decided to put it to gen kicks, which we're constantly dealing with how it unevenly affects killers with pop and such. Last time I played a Savo squad, I managed to 4-man slug them, but because they all went down in the same area, I think I remember they brought Ebony Oak Offering. It could only reach 2 hooks and had to bleed out the other 2. Yeah, Savo squads are Giga eating. It's punishing killers for tunneling, but then it's And the reason we're doing that is just because, like, it's not a fun playstyle. It's like, you know what else isn't a fun playstyle? Savo squads. And they're buffing Savo squads. Like, what? What? Why are we doing that? Who thought that that was, like, a good idea? It's going to, sure, I guess, nerf tunneling, but it's not going to address the primary issue of tunneling. At least for the killers that really need it. Like, sure, maybe the pop, eruption, pain res, grim embrace, blight isn't going to tunnel until 6 hooks are done or whatever. But they didn't need to. And it's good that you're punishing that specific blight, but you're also punishing frickin' Hag, which is like a C tier killer, a D tier killer. And Myers becoming dash slop is just like, it doesn't surprise me. And why why are we getting another change for Myers, a rework that I feel like wasn't really being asked for, when we have multiple other killers that have still been on the back burner for changes, for reworks, for like actually years. Trickster has, or almost 2 years, Trickster has been sitting there waiting for his rework. Skull Merchant got deleted, and they haven't given her any compensation. Meanwhile, after Skull Merchant got deleted, they buffed Myers by reworking his stock mechanic. And then, after reworking the stock mechanic, and they're going to give him a complete full makeover rework, which is happening again before Skull Merchant gets her rework. Like what? Why? Why did Myers get multiple changes? Changes that are getting scrapped with the new rework, and they can't do, like, before, like, that are more recent than Skull Merchant's change, and before her future change. I just, like, that doesn't make sense. Why are you spending so much time paying attention to killers? That, sure, Myers does need help, but Myers isn't Skull Merchant. Skull Merchant needs probably the most help out of, like, every killer in the game, and they're spending so much time adjusting him and doing things that people didn't ask for. I can't understand the mindset. Like, what is, like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Damn, we should have gotten a gen speed boost, and a killer should be unable to damage gens now. Yeah, I mean, 1, 2, 3, yeah. Oh, hi, bud. Yeah, this is an incredibly close game, but in the future, Trail of Torment won't work. He won't have any undetectable. I mean, half of the perks in the game work around gen clicks. Yeah, this won't be a thing. So, and instead of being a close game, we probably, you know, would have won, because he can't touch anything. That eruption or whatever that just happened wouldn't have happened. This would be at 90% because he kicked it like 10 minutes ago. It's like, what? Why? The fact that they did it completely irrespective of gens makes, genuinely, it makes no sense. Because they instead of, whoops, I'm trying to freaking close the lock, and the game just said no. Wait, under the new system, Trail of Torment won't work since it's needs a gen to progress? Yeah. Yeah, you won't be able to apply Trail of Torment if you kill somebody not even too quickly. If you just, like, kill somebody without spreading hooks. Don't take gen count into consideration. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it would still be flawed, but it would be flawed instead of, like, there's so much baggage with every change, and behavior really has just shown with so many changes that they don't have the forethought or even just, like, the ability to listen to community engagement or to community backlash consistently enough to fix all of the issues with their changes. So my hope is that they ditch like half of the changes, and maybe they keep like the 90-second slug timer and then change it so that it's 90 seconds per pickup. So it's not 90 seconds one time, you have to do it per thing. So you would get maximum 2 unbreakables instead of like 6 or whatever it would be with what their proposed iteration is. Maybe keeping the spreading hooks incentive might be okay. I would prefer that they change it from gen kicking to just like a pain res effect, because I think that just it's much more even. You don't have specific killers being benefited more than others. you pretty much, like, half the changes need to be completely washed. Half of the remaining changes after that need to have some pretty major changes made to the changes, and then maybe half of them could come in with only slight changes.